Hello and welcome to this edition of the Policy Bazaar show. I'm Vivek Law. Today we are going to talk about something which is very important in all our lives, and which is how do you make a claim if something were to happen to you or to someone who you love. Health insurance is something we've been saying on this show is one of the first financial products that you need to buy. However, when the time comes when you need to use your health insurance policy, how do you go about raising a claim? Today, two eminent guests with me will demystify the entire process for you, and of course, we'll take some of your questions as well. With me is Amit Chhabra, who's the business head for health insurance at policybazaar.com. Also with me is Manish Dodeja, who is the Executive Vice President Claims at Religare Health Insurance. Thanks very much, gentlemen, both of you, for coming by. First question, Manish, what's the way in which you file a complaint, a claim, if something were to happen?
Thank you for having me on the show, Vivek. Servicing of claims is the moment of truth for an insurance company, and hence it is very important that the servicing of claim process is much more simpler and easier than the buying process of the policy. There are two options that are available to the customer. The first one is filing a reimbursement claim. In this, the customer has gone to a hospital, got admitted, and has paid the amount to the hospital and got himself discharged. He can file a reimbursement claim to us at the hospital, to the insurance company, and filing all the documents that are necessary, including the bill, the discharge summary, all the investigation reports, and the insurance company would adjudicate as per the policy terms and conditions. The second option is the cashless claim option, where the customer goes to an empaneled network hospital of an insurance company, where he needs to send a pre-authorization or send an authorization request through the hospital to the insurance company, and the insurance company would then adjudicate the claim and pay directly to the hospital, and the customer can get discharged from the hospital. Through both these processes, there are a lot of back-end processes that are involved. So what is important also is before either getting admitted in case of a non-emergency hospitalization or in case of an emergency hospitalization where the customer has already got admitted, a pre-intimation, though not mandatory, but helps the insurance company to kind of quicken the process at the back end. So an intimation of claim before before filing a claim kind of helps quicken the whole process.
Amit, so again, just to take what Manish said further, so let's look at two scenarios. One is a scenario where I know that I have to go for something planned. Yeah. In this kind of a situation, what is the documentation that I need to keep with me? How does the process work?
So the good news is, Vivek, it's become a very simple process now. And I think that's why the industry has also evolved significantly in the last few years, where filing a claim to getting the money or getting it cashless is a very, very simple process right now. So taking a simple, like the most common case that happens is where you're going for a planned illness. Say you're going for a surgery and you already know about it, say 5 days earlier. As a step one, you need to intimate your insurer. You need to intimate the company from where you've taken the health insurance policy. You need to send them the basic documents on why you're getting the surgery done. Typically, it's done by the hospital directly. So all you have to do is to your hospital, give your health insurance policy card, the cashless card that you have, and post that it is the hospital and the insurance company which coordinate amongst themselves. They get a pre-authorization done before your surgery is done. So they would have a sense of the expected expenditure that's to happen on that policy, on that surgery. And based on that, a pre-authorization is already taken before you go in for the surgery. Now, for the customer, there's actually nothing more to be done. Post that, it's between the hospital and the insurance company to coordinate. In a case, as Manish said, in a case where there's an emergency or you have to go to a hospital which is not in the cashless network of the insurance company, that is where a reimbursement process has to be followed. In that case, all the documents which were needed at the time of hospitalization, so your diagnostic reports, the reason you were admitted to the hospital, the reports that were given to you at the time of checkout from the hospital, all of that needs to be submitted to the insurance company. Again, it's typically the insurance company and the hospital that coordinate amongst each other. And given that the processes are now a lot simpler, a lot of technology is used to, make the process easy and simple for the customer. It is a pretty, I would say, a painless process for the customer from getting admitted to getting the claim. So it's a very simple process as such.
Would you say, Manish, that over the many years, because I remember about a decade ago, this used to be the biggest issue for most consumers, that in fact they would be reluctant to go and take health insurance because the general feeling was that, when the time will come to get a claim, then it will be very difficult. What has the regulator done in the last few years to make this a more hassle-free process?
The regulator has taken a lot of steps to make sure that the policyholder's interests are protected at the time of claim. So to start with, the regulator has done a lot of work on the standardization of the health insurance contract, the policy, where now we have standard definitions across across insurance companies. We have standard waiting period definitions, standard pre-existing definitions, standard exclusions. So there's a lot of work that has gone into standardization of the whole insurance contract, which has brought in a lot more transparency to the customer, and hence the grievance rates have also gone down. The other steps there that the regulator has taken, now there's a clearly defined timeline under which an insurance company needs to take a decision on the claim, as well as now there's an integrated grievance mechanism where in case an insurance company, a customer wants to come back and raise a grievance for a particular claim, there is a time period defined, there's a process defined through the regulator where you need to make sure that you go back to the customer and resolve the grievance. So the regulator has taken a lot of these steps to make sure that the policyholder's interest is protected, especially during the claim stage.
You made the point about, carrying the cashless card. And if for some reason a consumer has misplaced the card or can't find the card, is the policy number adequate, or does that become a huge issue?
For the customer, all they need to provide is either their policy number, or if they actually walk up to the TPA desk, which is present at every large hospital, they're able to locate your policy number through various means, through your phone number, through your email ID. So it's not difficult as such for the customer. So if you have a cashless card, it just makes things easy. If you don't have it, it's not a big problem at all.
And how strong is the TPA network today? I mean, how many hospitals in percentage terms would you believe are covered? Is it across the country, or is it only, confined to metros?
So it's fairly strong now. In fact, if you look at, any of the large health insurance companies, they have networks above 7,000-8,000 hospitals in India.
7,000-8,000
hospitals, yes.
Okay.
And this would include across India, yes. So this includes typically all of the large hospitals you would have. Along with it, it includes a lot of the specialized hospitals. And again, not only in metro cities, but you go to tier 3, tier 4 cities as well, there would be enough hospitals there. So in a typical tier 4 city as well, you would have 15 to 20 hospitals which are providing cashless treatment. And just to give you a sense why cashless makes sense. It makes sense for everybody in the ecosystem. It makes sense for the insurance company as well, because processes are simpler. It makes things smooth and seamless for the customer as well. So from that perspective, it works for everybody in the ecosystem to have a large network of cashless hospitals.
Manish, in the event of an emergency, what do I or my family need to carry when they're taking me to a hospital? Is my policy number enough to know at that point of time?
Yes, your policy number is enough. So in case you go to an insurance TPA desk and walk up and say that I'm covered under this policy number with this insurance company, the hospital can send us this pre-authorization directly basis the policy number, and an insurance company can retrieve the record through the policy number and start processing the claim.
And how important is it for a consumer when selecting insurer for my health insurance to see what is the network coverage of TPAs? Is that something which is disclosed to a consumer at the time of taking a policy, that we cover X number of hospitals? Amit made the point, 7,000 to 8,000. Is that something which most large insurers like you have, that kind of a network?
Yes. Today, when a customer buys a policy, that is one of the most important questions that a customer looks at, that how many hospitals and how many cities does the insurer have its hospital network through which the claims can be serviced. As Amit rightly mentioned, today insurers through either directly or through TPAs have upwards of 8,000 to 9,000 hospitals covering more than 700 plus cities. So that is one of the most important decision-making points for a customer to look at before purchasing a policy.
So what are the most common reasons, Amit, that you see for why claims are rejected of people?
I think a very pertinent question, Vivek. So just to give you a statistic, more than 90% of the claims that are filed with any of the large insurer are approved and paid off. So it's only about 10% of the claims which are not paid out to the customer because of some reason. Now, if you actually look at the breakdown of that 10%, about 7% of those are cases where the customer didn't understand the policy terms and conditions properly, or there was some confusion around that. I'll give you a typical example. So a typical policy comes with a 2-year waiting period for named illnesses like say cataract or knee replacement. Now, if a customer still goes for a cataract surgery and it's under the 2-year waiting period, then the insurance company is not liable to pay that claim, and that's rightly so as well, right? But if that claim is filed by the customer, that is bound to get rejected. Similarly, if there's some fraudulent activity happening again, where maybe hospitalization was not needed at all, but still the customer, did that or for some other purpose, again, that is the reason why a claim may get rejected. But apart from that, there is no liable reason for any claim to get rejected at all. So if you're an honest customer, if you're going to a hospital to get a treatment which is needed and which is covered under your policy terms and conditions, there is no reason why any health insurance company will ever reject your claim.
All right, time for a quick break here on the Policy Bazaar show. When we return, we take some of your viewer questions as well and lots more around health insurance and how to make a claim. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the Policy Bazaar show, and today we are talking about health insurance claims, how to go about making a claim when the need and if the need arises. My next question, Amit, is that what happens after I've made a claim? What happens to my policy? I mean, does it just continue the next year? Do I have to pay a higher premium? How does it work?
So for a customer, the good news is nothing really changes. So what the regulator has done over the last so many years is they've brought in a lot of regulations which takes care of the customer interest. So as an example, one, there cannot ever be claim-based pricing next year. I'll take an example. If I have a 10 lakh rupee sum insured policy and I claim all of 10 lakhs this year, I'm actually eligible to claim another 10 lakhs next year. The price does not change at all. So the price I'm paying this year, assuming there's no age slab change, I will pay the exact same price next year as well. So the price doesn't change. Within that year only, yes, you can only claim up to the sum insured amount. So if the sum insured is 10 lakhs, you can only claim 10 lakhs. You cannot typically claim more than that. But again, there's an exception there. So a lot of innovation has happened over the last years in the products that we are buying today from health insurers. As an example, most products today have a benefit called restore or recharge, where essentially what happens is if I'm a customer and I've claimed 10 lakh rupees, now if another member in my family who's in the policy needs another 10 lakhs for some other illness, they actually have the entire sum insured available to them. So what that means is if two people within the same policy holder family fall ill, both of them get the sum insured of 10 lakhs complete amount. So from that perspective, it's very good because the entire family's interests are protected and it's not only just one person who falls ill.
And would you say that filing for small amounts therefore is all right, or would you say that try and keep your claims at the very, minimal or only when absolutely necessary?
See, Vivek, as an insurer, we process claims with the same amount of proactiveness, irrespective of the amount of the claim. The only benefit that gets affected if a customer files for a claim is no claim bonus. Earlier, each policies used to have standard no claim bonuses between 5 to 10%. Now there are products and policies that are available which give up to 50% of the sum insured as no claim bonus. So it's finally between a customer's decision that he needs to take a decision as to whether it's better for him to carry that additional sum insured for in case a future higher need might come in, or claim for a smaller amount and end up losing the no claim bonus.
And how does the no claim bonus work in a health insurance? Does it increase my sum insured or does it reduce my premium?
So it increases your sum insured. So every year
I don't get the money back, but my sum insured goes up.
So you add up the sum insured. So if you, for example, had a 5 lakh sum insured and you didn't claim that year, and in a standard insurance contract, you could have next year for a 5,50,000. In a super no claim bonus kind of contract, you could have 7,50,000 next year, for which you can take a claim for the same premium that you pay next year.
Okay.
So your sum insured goes up in case you don't claim as no claim bonus.
And therefore, what you suggest is be very careful when you keep claiming. I mean, claim only when absolutely necessary.
So I think it's a very personal decision that the customer has to take, keeping in mind what is happening in his life situation right now. So if it's actually a claim worth only probably 5,000-10,000 rupees, you might actually be better off saving the no claim bonus that you have garnered over the last year or so. So it could be, and as Manish is saying, right, the no claim bonus could actually be double the sum insured that you already have. So let's take a simple example to illustrate here. Let's say if I have a 5 lakh rupee policy and I have not claimed in the last 3 years. So that sum insured has actually now become almost 12.5 lakhs. Now, for me, it actually makes sense to not claim if the claim amount is very small. If it's only say 5,000 rupees, I might as well pay that from my pocket and keep my 12.5 lakh rupee policy with me intact. Because if I claim, the sum insured will come down drastically for me. But again, if you're claiming a large amount, say if it's a 1 lakh rupee claim, it definitely makes sense to go ahead and claim that amount from your health insurance policy.
But I remember, Amit, you made this point in a previous show, and Manish, it's worth getting your thoughts on this. Amit made the point that once you have a policy, as per the IRDA rules, your policy renewal cannot be rejected.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes. So as per the regulation that the regulator has laid down, you have lifetime guarantee of renewal. So once you enter into a contract,
irrespective of what I've claimed or what ailment I have suffered from.
Irrespective of the ailment, irrespective of the number of times you've claimed, that insurance company cannot refuse your renewal of the insurance contract. Neither can the insurance company, just for your specific case, rate up your policy or load your policy or increase your policy premium just for your specific case for any large claim that you might have done.
So Manish, there's been a lot of technological growth as well, both from the point of view of buying the health cover online. Is the claim process also largely online now? Supposing I don't have an agent, or even if I do have an agent, is the claim process largely online today, or is it still in the physical mode?
No, it's largely online. So earlier, for example, in cashless claims, hospitals used to fax documents to insurance companies. Now a lot of that process has also moved online to portals where the hospital sends documents through e-documents that are sent to insurance companies. And even for reimbursement, insurance companies have rolled out portals, self-servicing mobile apps, where you could just click photos of your documents and upload them onto the app, and the insurance companies would start processing, and you need to then send out the documents to them physically. Similarly, artificial intelligence has started playing a huge role in taking decision making of claims, where there are smaller amount of claims, repetitive amount of claims, standard decision making claims. Artificial intelligence has started playing a large role in quickening the whole process of taking a decision on claims. So you're right, technology has started playing a huge role in making sure faster settlement of claims and hence higher customer satisfaction.
Okay, time now for our segment, the Mythbuster. The myth that we are seeking to bust today is insurance companies can refuse your claim unfairly. Manish, we've talked a lot about the claim process. You've also articulated how the regulations don't allow are very customer focused now and make it very difficult for a company to reject. But in the event of a claim rejection which a consumer feels is unfair, what is it that a consumer can do?
So there are 2 or 3 steps that a consumer can take. The first one is the consumer can obviously go back to the insurance company and represent the case, and each insurance company takes the representation of the case with additional documents that he or she feels that help him take the decision, insurance company, a further review of the decision. The other way is that he can formally file a grievance with the insurance company. The grievance is a formal process where the insurance company relooks at the case and needs to come back within 15 days to the customer with a decision of the case. Third is finally there are insurance ombudsman bodies that are available. So up to a particular amount of claim, in case it gets rejected, the consumer can go up to the insurance ombudsman, where the insurance ombudsman will then call a sitting between the insurance company and the customer and review the case and take a decision according to the policy terms conditions that are available at that time.
And is this entire process time bound?
Yes,
for example, if you go to an ombudsman, is it like months or years? How long does it take?
No, as soon as you file with the ombudsman. The ombudsman sends the insurance company a notice. The insurance company, there's a defined time in which the insurance company goes back, and then there's a sitting. So overall, the process doesn't go beyond a month or 45 days. It doesn't go beyond.
That's swift enough. Yes. Amit, you want to add to that?
I think this is very important, right? From a customer perspective, a lot of us have heard torrid stories about claims being rejected, about from friends or family somewhere, when the entire amount was not paid off or the claim was completely rejected. I think it's a myth, and it's important to understand why. Most of the claims that get rejected are rejected because the customer didn't understand the policy terms and conditions properly, or something was misrepresented at the time of buying. So from a customer perspective, two key takeaways here. One, when you're buying, make sure you fill up the proposal form yourself and you declare all that you have had in the past. So if you have had a pre-existing disease in the past already, that must be declared on the proposal form in as much detail as possible. If you have had a hospitalization in the past, even a fracture or even a very minor hospitalization, all of that must be put on the proposal form. Secondly, I think it's important for the customer to understand the policy terms and conditions carefully. If there is a waiting period in there, if there is an exclusion in there that's put at the time of buying, you must understand that before you buy. That, and somewhere a lot of steps have been taken by the insurance companies as well in that regard. So mostly every customer who buys the policy is today given a welcome call by the insurance company. The idea is to explain the terms and conditions carefully so you know exactly what you're buying. So I think if these two things are taken care of, the customer will never have a nasty surprise at the time of claim, which is very important.
Okay. All right, time for a question now from one of our viewers. Aditya from Delhi has sent us this question. His question is that I'm a resident of Delhi and my age is 34 years. I have a family floater health insurance policy that covers me, my wife, who is 31 years old, and my son, who's 3 years old. I want to know what documents are needed for processing claims if the treatment has been done in a non-network hospital. Manish?
So the customer, once he is discharged, he needs to send basically the bill that he would have received from the hospital, the discharge summary, all the investigation reports that would have been done at the hospital, and the payment receipt that the hospital would have given him. Once all these documents are there, he can send all of these documents to the insurance company to adjudicate the claim.
If you too have a question for us, please send it. That's policybazaarshow@policybazar.com. We will be happy to take your questions on this show. On that note, thank you very much, Manish, and thank you very much, Amit, for coming by. That's all the time we have in this edition of the Policy Bazaar show. We'll be back next week with lots more around insurance. Stay tuned. Keep watching Republic TV.